Hello, welcome everyone to the Creator Metaphysical Store. So, I got really drawn to talk more in depthly uh, about the Witch's Jar. I don't believe I made a video for YouTube, but I do believe I made a video on Instagram about the Witch's Jar. Now, what is a Witch's Jar? A Witch's Jar is a jar comprised of the feces or the piss, along with other parts of like your nails, your hair, doesn't matter what, with herbs and spices specifically for the intention that if anyone tries to put a hex on you, a curse on you, or does any black magic, their the black magic or in their soul, so to speak, their energy will be instantly trapped in the jar. Now, this is my witch's jar. It is not finished. I still have to do a little bit more on the top layer because it's still leaking for some reason. Now, in this jar, I'm sure you can feel the energy off this jar. I used cumin in this jar for anti-theft properties. If anyone's trying to steal my energy, so on and so forth. I used my bodily fluids of piss, my spit, and I did use my blood on the piece of selenite that is right here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a piece of selenite right there, covered in wax. I used cayenne pepper, black pepper, stuff that's really good for banishing and just really for fire and fire energy, Mars energy. Now, I am going to be offering kits. I have actually made an available custom ritual kits, and I can send you everything except the bodily fluids. Those must come from you. The reason why you need your bodily fluids of your feces or your piss is because I'm gonna go back to the witches' trials. Not just Salem, but just the witch trials, right? So, in the lifetime where I was a witch, there was a man that came to me and asked me to create a jar in order for him to trap another fellow witch. He didn't know I was a witch, but I said, because I had it under the ruse that, basically holy stuff, hallelujah, thank you, Lord. So I was under the ruse that I was a saint. I could create artifacts and stuff that would be utilized in order to trap witches and stuff, right? Unfortunately, I was on the side of the witches because I was a witch, but, I got to go with the times. So when he asked me to make that, I said, yes, give me a few days, and you should have an answer by the next full moon. Uh, I was very discreet in my line of practice, so I would often use messengers instead of myself to go to the locations where we meet up. It was very secretive, right? So I held a gathering for witches and in my coven at that time, and it was a big concern for us because we knew the power of what he was requesting. Like we knew it is possible to trap souls and stuff, but we're trying to think of a countermeasure. And I've suggested me and a few others that we use our piss and our feces in order to put a curse in it to where, or our spit or our hair, not our hair, but our spit. And in order to put a curse that if they try to use it against us, instead, it would trap them instead of us. It would cause harm to them instead of us. So I said, okay, I will do this on the condition that basically this could jeopardize me. So I had to find a different location to keep all the witches that I was housing and keeping safe. I was like, on the condition we move locations. So I know it's not an easy topic to talk about, um, utilizing your bodily fluids, for magical purposes, but there are many magical properties in your body. For example, when you pee, it has you can use that to actually hex your neighbor if that person's giving you a hard time and it's you have told them to quiet down and stuff. You could dump or a bottle of piss mixed in with salt and some cayenne pepper and throw it in their lawn, and it will cause strife and confusion. You know, the same thing with your feces. Now, I don't recommend going squatting in a paper bag, don't do that. But if it's required, you can. Now, I don't personally work too much with this kind of magic because it is what I would consider it dark magic, but I also would consider it light magic. So I call it gray magic in the in between because you're using it to protect yourself, but also harming another individual. So it's kind of like a 50-50 here. Um, I used I also forgot to mention I used oils as well, like dragon's blood, such. Um, so yeah, a witch's jar is a jar basically meant to trap what was originally used, try to be used to trap witches, but instead it trapped the person who made the jar instead. Now you can rewire it to where it works for you, and that's what I was putting the intention in. That this jar, and I charged it with the energies, I've charged the crystals, everything, and I put the intention, and I'm going to do it again just to reinforce it, that this is going to trap all black magic, anyone who is casting any black magic towards me, any negative thoughts, emotions, or vibrations, and it is going to, if they persist 3 times, it traps their soul, mind, body into this jar, and it reinforces the jar. I'm imagining that when the souls are trapped, both mind, body, and physically, energetically being absorbed, uh, it is reinforcing the seal on the jar that I put energetically. Now, they don't have to make one, but I think it's an important topic to talk about certain things we don't necessarily talk about in the magical practices. A lot of people don't realize. I mean, yeah, I know there are blood witches that do hemomancy, I think it's called, blood magic. But there are also now. I'm just. I don't want you to think that I'm a weirdo talking about this stuff, but I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to this. It's and you can use your feces and your other bodily fluids in order to create hexes and curses and jinxes. So I am actually going to put on here. Let's see. We did don't. Oh, There we go. And just perfect. Perfect. So that's what a witch's jar is and how it was used back in the day and what you could use it now for. I use witch's jars for people that it takes a while for me to get really pissed off and angry and agitated. I like to give people chances before I even do this kind of energy work, but it's rare for me to do this. But if you keep if they people keep attacking me or sending energy my way, that's when it takes a while for me to get to the stage. I actually made this because there are certain individuals that are just bothersome. I will say though that you can add rested nails or rested bobby pins or shards of glass in a way to basically affect them on the physical level and the mental level. I find that broken glass or are really good for basically shattering the mind and for basically a representation of clumps of metal and shards of like just toxic materials in around the body. And then I found the bobby pins or the rusted nails or tacks really, really good for basically poking holes of like forgetfulness, amnesia. So it's really good to do that. Um, Nightmares. So, like I said, it's not an easy topic for me to talk about because it is uncomfortable for me as well as you, but it is something that I feel like should be talked about on the uses of these items. I know it's just weird and disgusting. I get it, but it is the important to talk about the weird and the disgusting because they exist. It ain't gonna go away if we don't think about it. It's gonna be there. But I wanted to give you this information. I do hope this information was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions on other uses for the witch's jar. Blessings, kisses, and namaste.